So how do you do this? How do you do this TPM? There's really 4 basic stages. First stage is you want to stabilize your current state and restore the equipment. Next one is to measure the 6 big losses to know where your losses are coming from. Then you want to eliminate those losses as a source, and then start looking at improving your design, improving the design of your equipment so you can improve the process. Okay? So the first step, initial cleaning. Now it's not a one-time event. It's not like a spring cleaning. It should be repeated on a regular basis, say monthly or every 6 months. You have a cleaning of this piece of equipment. The first time you do initial cleaning, it's going to be rough. Okay? It's going to take some time. I've seen it where it take up to 3 days to do an initial cleaning on a piece of equipment. As you get better at this, it's easier. It takes less time. So know that. So it should take less time as you go further in the system. When you're doing the cleaning, you can do some tagging on it. The tagging are issues that you find in the piece of equipment. So instead of fixing it right away, you just tag it and hang it onto the piece of equipment. And as you improve and fix those tags, fix the issues that are causing those tags, you'll have less and less tags when you do a process. Here's an example. The outside of the machine looked pretty good, but when you started looking on the inside, it was pretty dirty. So it wasn't as bad as the first examples I was showing you because the outside looked really nice. But when you start getting into the machine, it looked like that other plant, only on the inside. And this machine had a history of long leaks. And the answer I was getting, well, we looked at it. It leaks. Nothing we can do about it. So we said, all right, no machine's going to leak, and we're going to fix that problem. So we did an event and looked at this. When we did the initial event, we took out the chip conveyor underneath, and look what we found. Again, this was all hidden underneath the machine. So we figured that was a cause of the leak. That's like clogged up and overflowing. And when they cleaned it out, they cleaned out the one end, but they never cleaned out the back end because they never pulled it out for 8 years. So we found another issue. So we took to cleaning it up, and then we also did an assessment on the machine. We went and gave it a once-over. This is a combination with the operator, management, and with maintenance, all working together on this event. So we had the 3 components going through and giving the assessment. When we clean the machine, even though it takes 3 days to clean it, we're cleaning to inspect. That's one of the key major differences on a TPM. When you clean the piece of equipment, you're inspecting it while you're cleaning it. Now, some people may not know what to look for. This is where you teach them, and you ask to look for things. So we have everybody going around the piece of equipment. Every time you swipe, you're looking. Every time you're touching, is it tight? Is there a leak coming here? So you're going over with a fine-tooth comb your piece of equipment. In fact, in this example, we're climbing to the top, we're looking underneath, we're going inside, we're looking inside the equipment, we're going everywhere. Now, one of the things that we know that it's going to take about 3 days, we actually had this piece of equipment planned downtime to shut down for this event to do the cleaning. You can't just say, I'm going to do it tonight. So you got to plan for some extra time on this cleaning because there's some things you're going to learn about it you may not know. So we get inside the machine, we're cleaning to inspect, and again, what we're trying to do is one of the goals is find out why it's leaking. As we pull things apart, we're searching for it. Now the interesting thing on this piece of equipment is we knew that the chip conveyor was overflowed and clogged, so we knew that was a leak source, so we cleaned that all up. We also realized that this had a trough system, so when the lubricants were being sprayed on it, it would migrate to these troughs. The troughs would go to a drain hole and go down. Well, guess what? Those troughs were full, the drain holes were plugged up, and it would just overflow over the side. That was another thing we learned. We also learned that there was more than one trough. So maintenance knew of one, but they didn't know about a couple others. And the operator didn't know about any of them. So we all learned together. So we cleaned it by going on the inside of the machine. And after we did all that, we thought that we had cleaned and found all the problems for the leaks. What do you think we did? Did we? No. We didn't. We probably got 90%, but the thing is, once you cleaned it all up, and after we went through the whole process, and we found a couple issues, we got that all taken care of, we started the machine back up again on a nice clean floor. How soon did we know if we had a leak again? Right away. Not only did we know right away, we knew exactly where. And then from there, we know where to look. And maintenance never had that opportunity before because it was always dirty. Always had oil film on the bottom. So not only did we help us find it, we helped maintenance solve the problem. They found another problem with it. They fixed that, and this machine doesn't leak anymore. So that's one of the benefits of why you want to go into deep cleaning. Again, it may be a mess to clean up, and that took a lot of shoveling. We filled that hopper full of scum. Yes, it's not a pretty job, but you have to do that to do the cleaning. Now, the other cool thing is when we took this out, we noticed something on this piece of equipment. Do you know what that hose is? It's flexible conduit, and it holds the main electrical connections from the control box to the piece of equipment. The main juice to this machine went through this, and it's broke. What does that tell you? It's more than an uh-oh. It's I'm glad I didn't hurt somebody or fry the equipment. Because if I would have circuited that, what would have happened? What kind of downtime would I have had?
Could have killed somebody.
I could have killed somebody. So thank God that didn't happen. But then what kind of downtime would I have had on that machine if it would have fried? Replacing motherboards and everything else in the weeks. So when we pulled out this chip conveyor, we noticed that issue. Then when we crawled underneath it, we could actually see it was completely worn out. It was just a matter of time before it would have gotten to the wires. So we wanted to fix that. Now what we did is the last step is to improve the design. If you can see in that picture here, this is the control box is on the left. And then the cabling ran underneath alongside the chip conveyor, which is the blue. So it caused the rubbing and the friction. That design was not good with that chip conveyor. So what we did is we got rid of that flex hose and got heavier duty hose, conduit hose. We got rid of the plastic elbow joints and got cast metal. And we rerouted it from underneath the machine to the side of the machine, taking it completely away from the chip conveyor. We redesigned that machine to make sure that that never happens again. Yeah, we could have just put more flex hose on it and stuck it right back there, but what would have happened? Same thing. Okay? So what we want to do is make sure that we focus on what is the problem and put in countermeasures to help make sure that it wouldn't happen again. In this case, it may involve redesigning the piece of equipment. And that's what we did in this case. So I was really proud of the maintenance group going through this with the operator, and they did this all within the week. So within the 3 days of downtime this machine was down, we had the parts in and done. No one got hurt, and we certainly don't have unplanned downtime on this machine because of that problem. And we would have never known it if we didn't have done a deep clean to inspect. It was completely hidden. And that's the point of what we want to do. Also, when we do these tracking, we want to keep a log on the piece of equipment. A lot of times, some maintenance departments don't have a good log, others have a good log, but we want to know the history of the machine. If we see a recurring problem or pattern in the machine, a log would be a good way to help detect issues or patterns, and that's what you're looking for. So have a log sheet. It could be as simple as just a clipboard by the piece of equipment to a fancy computer system that you may have in maintenance. But again, this is probably more reactive and has a short cycle of when the issue happens to when it gets logged into a computer, so you can see real quick.